All right. You know, I know it's a special sacrifice to come out to on a day like this. It's very cold out there, right? It's very cold out there, and in up north where we are, when it's cold like that, people have a tendency to not want to go anywhere. They sit in the couch, they make their imprint on the couch, right, and their imprint on the remote, and after work, after their 40 hours, they don't want to do anything else. They're done, right? They're done. They're cooked. Stick a fork in them, they're done. But there are some people that want more, that want a little more than the 40 hours, that want a little more than the paycheck. There's a special group of people that want to have some type of success in their lives. And those people that want to have success in their lives are divided into two groups. One group that are willing to do what is necessary to win, and the other group that says, well, someday I'll do this, someday I will do that, someday. So there's a group of them that lives on a little isle that we call the someday isle, and the other group, well, they just spring into action and they make it happen. So that group, basically, they're not satisfied with where they are. They look at the paycheck as an insult. They look at the job as just a means to an end, just a means to pay their bills, but it doesn't define them. It doesn't define who they are. It has no reflection on the personality, on the characteristic of who this person is that wants to be successful. So if I was to ask you guys a few questions, I'm pretty sure what the answers would be, but I'll ask it anyway. How many of you here would like to be very successful in your life? I know you do. All right, that's good. How many of you here have some major goals and dreams that you'd like to accomplish for your life? Fabulous, fabulous. And we're going to discuss some of the techniques to make those dreams happen, to make those goals happen. And, one last question is this. How many of you here knows that if you had your life to live over again, you could do better than you've done thus far? Absolutely. I think at some point we can all look back on our lives and see that there are some areas where we could have done better. Where we could have done better. Personally, my story is this. I always wanted to be successful, and I've always had some major goals and dreams. My first goal was to become a registered nurse, because I know that, not only was that my calling, because I love taking care of people, I love helping people, I love making people feel better, but I need to have a way to take care of myself. I need to have a way to be able to maintain and take care of a family, to put food on the table, right? So, what I did with that goal in mind is I got on the road to becoming a nurse, right? I went to the registrar's office. I filled out some paperwork, and I said my intention is to be this. Right? And I went to work. I became laser beamed focused on what I wanted to do. Right? I became so focused that the world around me did not matter anymore. Didn't matter anymore. Right? Criticisms didn't matter anymore. Being broke didn't matter anymore. Having no money, no food, no support, right? Being ridiculed did not matter anymore, because now I have a purpose, right? So it is important to have goals in your life. Now, when I ask you how many of you have goals that you'd like to accomplish, all of you raise your hands, because you know that when you have certain goals that you're chasing, that you're going after, well, your life becomes a life of purpose. You now have a reason to live. You now have a reason to continue, to move on in life, right? Earl Nightingale compared a person with a goal like a ship with a captain, a sense of direction, with a crew, right? A ship that is well anchored when it needs to be, a ship that is on the move, that knows where it's going, that has a direction, a specific purpose, and 99.999% of the time, that ship will get to the destination, right? However, you take someone without goals, without dreams, without any idea what they would want their future to be, well, what will happen is this. This person is basically just like that same ship, without a captain, without a sense of direction, without a crew, right? And basically that ship is not anchored anywhere, right? And guess what will happen? That ship will most likely end up at the bottom of the ocean, because you cannot live a life where you are being blown away left and right by the winds of life. You have to have a direction. You have to have a sense of purpose of where you are and where you're going in life. Without that, then life will have no meaning. So it's very important to have goals in life. My first major goal was to become a registered nurse, to take care of myself and my family. And, you know, it took some hard work, but thank God I was able to accomplish that. I became laser beam focused to make that happen. My next goal was to bring my mother from Haiti into the States so she could get better health care, better care for herself, because she's been paralyzed. She had surgery back in 1987 and has some major physical challenges. Wheelchair bound, you know, wounds popping left and right because she's not able to move herself around, you know. So I feel that as a child, I have a responsibility to my parents. I have a responsibility to my mother. So I'd like for you to hold in mind any special person in your life that you'd like to do something for. All right? Are there any special people in your life that you want to live for? Some special people in your life that you cherish enough that you want to make a difference in their lives. Right? For some of us, it's our parents. For some of us, it's our kids. For some of us, it's our spouse. Right? But there are some people in your life that need you. That need you. And because of those people, you can't afford to lay down your weapons. Because of those people, you can't afford to relax, to give up. You know? You can't afford to relax in the fight. Right? So think about those people that are very important to your life, right? And the things that you'd like to do for those people. When I read in the Bible the story of Joseph, who was sold into captivity by his brothers, right? But he never allowed hate to take place in his heart. And he ended up in Egypt, being in prison, went from prison to being the second in command in the country, to becoming a very powerful man in Egypt, right? So when there was famine back home, his brothers and father and family, they migrated to Egypt looking for food, right? And guess what? Joseph became the go-to person. He became the hero of the family. He became the one that rescued the family, right? I believe that it's very important for people to chase after their goals and dreams, because there may come in time in your life or in the lifetime of your loved ones where they will need a hero. They will need someone to stand for them. They will need someone to fight for them. And if you are not successful, if you haven't been chasing a dream, if you haven't lived to your highest potential, then you won't be able to step up to the task of being the hero, of being the person that may be the lifesaver to this family, to this person, right? So it's important to hold in your heart and mind and your hands those people that you love and cherish the most, because they may need you, right? They may need you, and I guarantee you they will need you in the future. One of the reasons they haven't knocked on your door before is because, guess what? You ain't ready. You ain't ready. But when you're ready, well, guess what? The universe, the world, God, everything will lead them to you, because you are able to make a difference, right? The other goal that I want to encourage you to have, to hold in your heart and mind, is social contributions that you need to make into this world, right? One of my favorite speakers says that it is shameful to die without contributing anything into this world, right? If you lived your life and the only one you always looked out for was number one was yourself, then you will have lived a life of failure. You will have lived a life of selfishness, and you will be forgotten and quick. The people that contribute to this world, to this society, are remembered. They become immortal in the minds and heart of those that need hope, right? Now, think about Martin Luther King, for instance. Okay? Think about his contribution into this world. And up till today, 50 years after his death, his words, his life, his messages, his sermons are still making a difference. I think President Obama is a product of the life of Martin Luther King. He's the aftermath of his life, right? The freedom that we get to enjoy, right? The freedom that we get to enjoy is the product of his contribution, and all the ones that came before and after him, like Frederick Douglass, like Malcolm X, right? And all the famous men and women in history that have worked, Booker T. Washington, all those guys have worked to better our lives. Right? They're not here to see the result of their hard work, just like you may not be there to see the result of your work, of your contribution. But the fact that you contributed to this world, to this society, well, guess what? You will become a legend. You will become legendary. So it's important to keep in mind personal goals for yourself, goals and dreams that you have, things that you want to accomplish for those that are close to you, and goals that you have for society. One of the reasons that I'm on the radio right now, a little while ago when we did the last seminars, I did mention my intention to be on the radio, right? To contribute, to speak to the youth, right? To speak to children, to speak to married folks, right? I mentioned my intention to speak to all types of group. And you know what? The fire that I have burning inside me made me want to do it. And I went out and did it. And right now, as we speak, it's on the air. It's on the air. They are playing what we did last Sunday. And you can now go online on YouTube and listen to it again. Right? And my intention is to make a contribution. Right? So if you can keep in mind your goals and your dreams, then that's going to give you a sense, not just a sense of purpose, but that's gonna push you in the direction of what you need to do. That's going to push you in a way it's going to make you do things that others won't do. Right? I think the people that win in this world, they go after what they want. Bad enough. They do the things that other people are not willing to do. A lot of people want to be successful, right? A lot of people want to be successful, but they're not willing to do what it takes to be successful, right? So I think that's why the good book says many are called, but the chosen are few, because only a few people are willing to do what it takes to get to where they want to be, right? So Stephen Covey talked about, he did a study where he studied the trait, the habits, the characteristics of the people that are successful, and he discovered 7 habits that they have in common. And I'm not taking credit for his work because it is his work, but guess what? It is a wonderful piece of work. It is a wonderful piece of work. And I believe that the youth in Boston, the kids that are in schools, in the Boston public schools, the kids that are out there need to hear this message. They need to hear that if you want to get to where you want to be, if you want to become a contributor to society, you need to adopt and develop those habits. Right? As a nursing student, it's important for you to know what you got to do to get that degree. right? And if you don't do those things, well, guess what? It's okay. No one's going to blame